This video we're covering margins, a couple of different places that we have margins in here, different options that we have, how it all works together to give you what you need. So we'll start with new job. And I have preferences set for a 3" by 1" name badge size plate on a 12 by 24 sheet of material. And I don't have any margins set for preferences. So if I click into here, I can set my 0.125 1/8" margin is pretty good for a 3" wide plate. So we'll set that. We'll say OK. So there's my material is the gray, my one plate is my 1x3 plate. Okay, so I'll put some text on the screen. It can be any object. Text will work because this is a nameplate anyway. So there's my one line of text. I grab it, use the arrow keys. It goes all the way to that 1/8" from the left, all the way to an 1/8" from the right. That's as far as it'll go. It'll still go to the top and bottom because I didn't set any margins there. Okay, so we set our plate margins in our master material settings. We have a shortcut to the plate margin. We also can get to plate margins here on the toolbar on the left. So we go to plate, and there are plate margins. So now if I change this to a 1/4" rather than 1/8", say OK, I come in here. This still goes all the way over to an 1/8". Why does that work that way? This is intentional. This works this way for a reason that you'll see later. So if I change this after the fact, I need to go into object properties with the item selected, and I can still see that it has those 1/8" margins. If I want it to have the new plate margins, I click plate margins here, and it has the new plate margins. Again, we'll show later why this is necessary. You'll notice here there's also a section here for object extents. So I could give it object extents, and that gives me margins for left, right, top, bottom. So I can say, OK, the margins that it gave are the margins of the registration box. So I cannot move this object anywhere on the screen. It is locked in place. Now we don't want to do that here. I'm going to Control Z to get out of that so we can move this around again. But I'll show you an example of when we do want to lock something in place. So we have our first line. We're going to go ahead and make a name badge out of this. So I'm going to call this name. Say OK. We'll have a second line of text that we do as title. Okay. The name should be bigger than our second line, so I can stretch that out a little bit. And then let's say we have a logo, and I'm just going to use an ellipse as a logo reference here. So I can align that vertically with the V button. I don't have to do anything else, just V to align it vertically. And then let's say I want to make sure this logo doesn't move. Well, this is when I can use the object extents. So I go in here to object properties, click object extents for its margins, and it puts the margins around that registration box. So I say OK. And now no matter what I do in this job, when I'm doing other things with these 2 lines of text, I can't get that out of position. So that's where we want it to stay. Now, for our name and title, let's center these. And I'll show you a feature that we have here. I'm going to undo this, Control Z. Let's say I wanted title to be fixed and name to center to title. To title be the dominant object here, rather than title centering over here to name. The way I would do that is I hold the Alt key down, click title, and then I can release the Alt key. Now I can drag a box around other objects that I want, or I could do a Control and click on each object. Anyway, I get all the other objects, and they'll be highlighted in red, which means they're just normal selections. They're not dominant or anything like that. Now if I hit the C button for center, it centers it. And remember, if you do want to orient left, you hit the L button for orient left, R orients right, C for center. We've got all those in the object, align and distribute section. There are all these alignment tools, and the hotkeys are there. Okay, so we'll down that rabbit hole. We're going to move this over here. Now, when I put in a long name here, I want to make sure that name doesn't run into the logo or run off the plate over here. So the easiest way to do that is that I can go in here and draw a box. And I tried to draw the box closer to the edge. It's got that 1/4 inch reference because I'm drawing this with the plate margins are set to 1/4 inch. Okay, so I'll take this side and mimic what that side is doing. I mean, that's a large margin for this plate, but that's fine. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I'm going to take this and center it up. It doesn't really matter at this point that I'm centering it, but I'm just like doing that. Okay, so now I don't want this name to ever go outside of where this box is, and I don't want the title to go outside of this. So I can grab all these together, go to Object Properties, and hit Object Extents. Now these values are for this box. The Object Extents does not do each object individually. It takes the largest object and gives it the values for that. So what that means now is I can take this and move it anywhere inside this box, but it won't go outside the box. It slams into the sides and it's done there. All right, now I can delete this box and this still has those same margins, or I'll click both of them together, it doesn't matter. And I can go around here and it's going to slam into the edge to that and not let me go any further than that. All right, so what that means here is if I do a text merge or I type in a very long name, it's going to force it to fit inside that box. All right, so we have this is locked in place. Both of these lines of text stay inside the box. And then let's say I decide that, oh, I'm going to go back to my plate margins and I want to give this an 1/8 inch margin because I'm going to put a bottom line that I want to be able to go closer to the edges. All right, so now I've changed that. This is why when you change plate margins, it does not override all this other stuff you've built. This is still locked in place even though I changed the plate margins. This is still forced inside the box as is this. But now I can type in a new line of text, make it as long as I want to make it. And it forces to the 1/8 inch left, 1/8 inch right. So that's why this all works this way, is that you can build things, you can change your plate margins without breaking what you've already built for other objects. Okay, let's look at one other thing real quick before we finish up with this video. We're going to delete this object and let's import a logo. So we're going to File, Import, and let's pull in this tree right here. Okay, so we have a bitmap of a tree. And if I try to bring it over here to the left, it hits that 1/8 inch margin and won't go any further. So let's go to Object Properties. And I can give this a negative number. So I'm going to type in -3 for the left. I didn't mean to hit enter there. So I'm going to go top. I'm going to go -3 as well. And then now it's time to hit enter or OK. So now I can slide this up and off of my plate, something like that. So this will be cropped out. If I go to print this, it's not going to print. It's only going to print what you see on the screen right here. So this is a way that you don't have to go through cropping, whatever. You can just hang something out like this and it will be cropped automatically when you print. So you can go negative with your margins to allow something to actually slide off the plate. So that pretty much covers everything here with margins. Thanks for watching the video.